This corner of my room is where I spend the majority of my time. And don't get me wrong, I'm so grateful to have a desk, but it seems like no matter what I do, I'm almost always knocking something off my desk. My room is really dark. Right now it's noon. This is the brightest my room's gonna be. And it doesn't help that 2 steps away from me is my bed. So I spend the majority of my time in this cluttered, dark room. And it doesn't have to be that way. My dad actually had the idea that I could put my desk in this room. It's not really being used. It used to be an office, and for a lot of different reasons, it's just kind of became a storage room, which is really unfortunate because there's a ton of windows, and it's just not really being used for anything. His desk isn't even being used for anything. He bought a different one. So he said I could clean up the room and use it. So I've been thinking, I can make this whole room my creative studio. When I take like Zoom interviews and stuff, this is what they see. They see my messy bedroom, they see my like collage wall, and neon heart light in the background, and whatever other clutter there is. It doesn't look super professional. It's obviously my bedroom, which I think most people like don't really care. They know that like I'm 22. But it would kind of be nice if the background just like looked nice and also be really nice. And I'm just kind of thinking here to have actual like film equipment. I don't really have a place to store anything, and maybe I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but I think it'd be so cool to be able to build like really cool like tripods or like camera rigs and camera dollies and all that stuff. And I'd be able to store it in here because there's a ton of space. I'm kind of thinking out loud here and looking really ahead of myself. So right now we're just gonna focus on the desk, getting it cleaned off, make it usable.
A big part of why I'm doing this makeover is because it's not great for me mentally to be working in a dark little corner with no sunlight all day every day. Your environment has a bigger effect on you than you think, and this is where the sponsor of the video, BetterHelp, comes in. BetterHelp is a platform where therapists and their clients can communicate effectively and get the most out of therapy. Being a freelancer has been great, but there's definitely some stressful parts about it. One stressful thing is working in environments that aren't ideal. Like my internet goes out and I have to work from a really loud coffee shop with no outlet and really bad Wi-Fi. Or when I've just been so busy with work I haven't had time to clean, so my desk is just full of like half empty coffee mugs and like a billion post-it notes everywhere. I've had to learn how to be adaptable and how to let go of the need for my environment to be perfect all the time. I was in therapy very briefly, and in that time, my therapist was able to give me tools and helpful methods so I can manage my stress. So if you're also a stressed out type A person, you might want to look into therapy. The therapists at BetterHelp are experts who can give you guided help, offer effective ways to cope with and solve problems, and give you a safe space to talk without fear of judgment. You don't need to have a clinical mental health issue to benefit from therapy. Therapy helped me manage my stress, but one thing that did kind of stress me out about it was the cost. Therapy can be costly, but online therapy platforms offer affordable options. If you're struggling and you think you might benefit from a therapy session, you can click the link in the description of this video, or go to betterhelp.com/Alivia Lee and get 10% off your first month of therapy. And thank you, BetterHelp, for sponsoring this video. Hi, editing me here. Something I didn't realize until I reviewed the footage is that I got so many plants.
I got some plants.
You'll see at the end how many I end up with. I mean, if you're one of those crazy plant people, it'll seem like a normal amount, but for me, I have a lot. Anyway, what I wanted to say is that adding plants to your space is one of the best things you can do. It makes the space feel so much better. What you're watching right now was filmed in July, and at this point, I only had plants in the room. No trinkets, no artwork, no decor, not even notebooks, just plants. And they really made all the difference. So if you're in the process of doing a desk or office or even like a room makeover, and you can't buy everything right away and you're wondering like, what do I get first? Consider a plant first. Team lift is not just a suggestion, I guess. I saw the team lift sticker on the box and I thought I could just do this myself. You don't want to know how long it took me to get it into my car and from my car to my house through the door. I'm very happy this blanket method worked. You probably already guessed what I'm doing because you saw what's right over here. I got a standing desk and a walking pad treadmill thing to put under it so I can like walk and work. I just really have a hard time sitting still for longer than like 3 hours, which I think that's kind of like normal for people, but I'll just find myself getting up and I'll literally pace to take breaks from work. I'll just pace around the room. So I'm thinking this setup will help me be a little bit more productive. I also just want to exercise more, and since I can't seem to really make time for it, at least as much as I would like to, this could be a really good way to multitask. This desk is 60 inches long, I believe, and 30 inches deep. So it should be similar to what I have now. And what I have now is like the perfect size. So I'm sure you don't want to hear me just talk about this desk. So I'm gonna listen to some music and try to set this up. I'm moving out in less than a year. And I have been kind of collecting furniture. My aunt and uncle were just getting rid of their like sofa set, and I really liked it. So I'm like, hey, I'll take it. One less thing I have to buy. And I thought instead of like putting it in storage or something, I would just put it in here. I have the space, and honestly, I think it fits really well. It makes the room a lot cuter, a lot cozier, but also a lot less echoey, which is what I'm having like a big problem with. Every time I would hit a key on my keyboard, it would echo in this room because these ceilings are like 12 or 14 feet high. So this room is big and there was a lot of echoing that was happening. Anyways, you can tell it is so freaking dark in here. A lamp is desperately needed. I found this lamp. This is my old childhood lamp. I found it in the basement. We're gonna see if this thing still works. It works. Wow, that's so much better. That's so much more cozy. Oh my gosh. Something I was thinking about buying were like string lights for my desk. And like I said, I'm going to be moving out like relatively soon. So I don't want to buy a bunch of stuff. So I do have like twinkle lights in my room. I want to see if I could maybe do something on the shelf that uses them, because I do really like filming here. And I think having it in the background would just look kind of nice. I don't know. We're going to see if it works. If it doesn't, I'm not even going to leave this in. You know, it's kind of pretty. I think I like this. I mean, you can't see it very well, but it's there. I'll have to show you at night. Maybe, hopefully, it'll be a little bit brighter. So now I don't really know if this lamp's gonna work out, because if I like shake the table, you can see that it just like starts flickering. This was one of the projects I did with my mom. I was really sick as a kid. I was like constantly not doing well. So we would always do like crafts together, and this was one of them that we did. She helped me put beads on them to like dangle down. I absolutely love them, but so many of them have fallen off over the years, so I'm gonna have to remove them. I'd love to do like something else artsy with it though. So what I think I'm gonna do first is address the worst ones, and I think this one might be one of the worst. There's literally like 3 leaves on this. And now the segment that I'm sure you've all been waiting for, and I'm sure some of you just skipped to, the door. Let's start with the door. I have a post-it note on the door saying to keep the door shut, because I have these. Like I mentioned before, I'm moving out sometime next year, and these are going to come with me. Hopefully, as long as I can keep them in good condition. And our cat likes to claw up furniture. You can actually see this cushion where she already kind of started to do that. And yes, by the way, we did name her after the cat that's in Fetch with Ruff Ruffman. So yeah, she's not allowed in here anymore. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to try to link everything I can in the description, but just a heads up, it's not going to be very much. I know this lighting is pretty atrocious for filming in, but I did want to show you kind of what it's like. There's always some sort of sunlight coming in here unless it's like noon, especially in the fall and winter seasons. Anyways, next to this couch, I keep my tripods. I also keep this tray so I can put it beside me on the couch for when I eat or if I want to like have a drink. You might be wondering, Olivia, why don't you just put your mugs and your food over here on this table like you just had it? And that's because usually this table isn't empty. Usually this is where all my plants go, but when I'm filming I keep them right above my desk so it looks kind of cool, but I'm way too scared to water them up there because I know I'm gonna ruin my laptop or my monitor. I have a habit of overwatering, so it just like overflows everywhere, so all the plants get moved to this table when they need to be watered. Also, I'm just realizing I think this plant is dead. That's okay, this thing was basically dead when I got it, but my English ivy that I got there is doing really well. My one hanging plant is getting so long, so the ones that I didn't propagate I like wrapped up around the hook that the plant's hanging from, and this is just a temporary fix because I haven't figured out exactly what I want to do with them. I would love to get more plant pots, but I don't need any right away, so I'm going to take my time and try to thrift for some really cool ones, or maybe save up and buy some that I really like. This is my propagation station and where I keep one plant and the jar I use to water my plants with. As you can see, the windowsill is full, but luckily literally this whole side of the room is nothing but windows. I love it so much, and it gives me plenty of space to put more propagation jars if I need to. The plants are actually doing pretty well, better than I expected. They're starting to grow roots, and some of them are starting to grow like new leaves and everything. Some of these in here in my experimentation jar, they're actually growing some roots, not as fast as I would have hoped, but there's definitely some growth happening here. I got these little jars from World Market. I really wish I would have gotten more of them because they're the perfect size. Next to my propagation station is my speaker. I love this thing. I think I got it for my 15th birthday. The battery sucks, so it needs to stay plugged in, but it sounds good. I charge my headphones on top of it, and I have an issue with companies that sell their products and have them come with the shortest charging cable. It makes it so I can't charge it just anywhere, but on top of my speakers is a good place for it. Also, next to this couch, I have my phone charger. This is about 2 steps away from my desk, or I'd have to roll over to it. So it's a good place to put my phone when I'm working and I don't want to get distracted. I can also charge it at my desk, but I am kind of running out of outlets for that. So it's just easier to have it here. And now onto the desk tour, since this is about my desk. But I do kind of have the whole room, so maybe it's more like a studio or an office tour. I don't really know. Anyways, the desk. Obviously, this is how I have it set up when I film. I move a lot of plants on my desk that would not be able to stay here, like these little guys that I'm trying to propagate. And then you can see I have all the plants up there on that shelf, which only stay there like half the time. But I'll show you what it looks like without all the plants on the desk. So this is the desk. I got a standing desk off of Amazon for like $200. I tried to find the cheapest one I could for like the depth that I wanted. I like to have my monitor farther away from me when I'm editing all day. I've worked, obviously, as you know, on a smaller desk, and it was just really hard to have space and not feel cramped. So I would definitely recommend spending a little bit of extra money to get a deeper desk. I would link this one, but honestly, I don't know if I would recommend it. It's a good desk. I like it. I'm not going to return it or anything, but I think it's sagging just a little bit in the middle. Everyone I ask says it's not, but I think it is. And that bugs me, not on like a day-to-day basis, and it doesn't affect at all how I'm able to work. And the desk is pretty solid. So I don't know. I could have just put it together wrong, but I don't think I would recommend this one specifically just for that reason. Also, cable management is a thing I'm working on. It's not too bad, but if I add anything else, it's just gonna get super hectic. This standing desk is one of the best purchases I've ever made. I use it every day. Well, like every working day. Another great purchase has been my walking pad. I got this off of Facebook Marketplace for $100. And when I was loading it into the car, I accidentally broke a little bit on the side. It doesn't affect how it works at all, so it's literally fine. It has a remote so I can adjust the speed while I'm walking. And it's on wheels, which is really nice because I use this thing like 2 or 3 times a day. I walk until I get tired, roll the walking pad out, lower the desk, sit down, work. Then when I'm feeling energized again, I just roll the walking pad right back under again. And because I use it so often, I haven't found a great storage solution for it, so it's literally just in the middle of the floor. It doesn't fit under any of the couches. If I really wanted to, I could like push it up against a wall somewhere, but I use it so often, it just stays there. Also, my headphones are noise canceling, so that makes it so I can walk and work at the same time. It is a little bit noisy. If you're wondering if you would actually use a walking pad, go to the gym, go on the treadmill, and bring a book. And you don't have to be walking fast, but try to read. And if you can do it without being super distracted, I think you could get used to a walking pad. I'm really impressed with how the lighting turned out. I mean, you can see the lights right now, but I'll have to show you when it gets a little darker out. Remember how the lamp was doing that weird flickering thing whenever I would like bump the desk? Well, I figured out it was just because the light bulb wasn't screwed in all the way. So it's fixed, it's good. The sunset lamp has been a great addition. I've tried out a bunch of different colors and I settled on pink. That's just my favorite against the red walls. And then I do like the twinkle lights. I wish they were a little bit brighter because you can't really see them super well unless it's like pitch black outside. You might notice that there's some artwork missing, except for the Marvel posters above the desk, which are not mine. I just haven't taken them down because I feel like I need something up and I haven't been able to decide what to get. Like I said, I'm moving out next summer. I'm not going to be here for too long, so I don't want to like buy a ton of artwork specifically for this space, especially because I don't really have that much wall space like around the desk itself. So I would end up buying small prints, which I love a small print, but I keep thinking like, what if I move and then my wall needs like a bigger piece? I wouldn't want to have to buy something twice, and honestly, I feel like there's enough going on with the plants that it kind of makes up for it. And I do use my monitor as a way to display some of my favorite movie scenes. This is a scene from Ponyo. Oh, my whole point about the artwork is that I'm obviously not a person who just buys everything at once, because every time I've done that, I've regretted it. So if you want to not regret your purchases, take it slow and slowly accumulate and collect things over time. I got this plant pot when I was at, I think it was Flying Tiger when I was in Italy this summer. These butterfly coasters are from my mom. I love them so much, and I stained every single one of them, and I felt really bad about that, but that's literally what they're for. I'm using them for their intended purpose. I use sticky notes literally all the time, so I make sure that I always have some within arm's reach. My pen and highlight holder is an old candle jar that I removed the wax from. This candle was a gift, and this candle I got for free from Yankee Candle. I didn't realize this until this year, but if you sign up for like Yankee Candle's rewards, you can get a free candle on your birthday. And my birthday is in August, so that's when they're rolling out all the fall scents and when they still have their summer scents that they're kind of trying to get rid of. So I have a wide variety of scents to choose from. So of course I spent like forever smelling every single candle in the store and landed on the most basic one, Spiced Pumpkin. I like it though. Up on the shelf above my desk, I keep my microphone when I'm not using it. This pot full of English ivy stays up there. It actually really likes it there. It's been thriving once I moved it. So that is the only plant that permanently stays on the shelf. And it doesn't have a hole in the bottom, so I don't have to worry about it leaking all over my monitor and my laptop. I have my summer candle. I have another old candle jar, and this one's holding washi tape and some cutouts that I'm using for a future video. I have my walking pad remote, my sunset lamp remote. This tea tin is from my first job. I was a barista. When we would finish a tin of tea, we could take it home if we wanted to. We were just gonna like throw it out anyways. So I have two. This is one of them. This was actually my favorite flavor that they had. And I have another one, but I don't really know where it's at. I have used this to hold anything and everything over the past 6 years. Right now, it's holding all the receipts that I need for when I do my 2024 taxes, but I am thinking about turning it into a little plant pot. I have two books up here. This is my commonplace book. This is a notebook that I got when I was 14, I think, and I never used it because I was just too scared to ruin it. I have a ton of notebooks just because I was too scared to ruin them. But I told myself that if I wanted to get new notebooks, I just had to use up the other ones that I had. So I am now using this as my commonplace book. And then I have my sketchbook, which I've used for literally everything, mostly brainstorming and mind maps though. And then this red box holds mostly wires, but it does hold my drives when I'm not using them. Yes, I have 3 of the exact same ones. And no, Samsung is not sponsoring me, but they should, because I'm going to buy more of them. And of course, none of this is finished. There will probably be changes made in the future. And of course, I will be moving offices in less than a year. So I'll be doing this whole thing all over again. But for now, that's all I've got.